On the 61st element, which is promethium, what are we going to do here? Let's go with Prom-Ethel. Ethel is an old-fashioned name, and it suits her. She's on the way to her prom, but she's wearing an old-fashioned dress, like something from Gone with the Wind. Neo has just gone smack into a tree, and the cereals are crying, "Neo dim." Then Prom-Ethel rushes up to help Neo stand up. Ethel is dressed in her old-fashioned prom dress, and she's struggling to help Neo stand up because Neo is a big guy, and she's just a teenager wearing a large, puffy dress. Picture the dowdy Prom-Ethel, and you'll recall the 61st element, promethium. 62. Samarium. The 62nd element is samarium. Samarium sounds similar to Samaritan. Prom-Ethel is struggling to help Neo stand up when a Good Samaritan rushes up and helps Ethel get Neo standing up. The Good Samaritan is straight out of the Bible, and he's wearing long sweeping robes, and he's kind and gentle like a Good Samaritan should be. Picture that very kind and gentle Good Samaritan, and it will remind you of the 62nd element, samarium. 63. Europium. Europium is the 63rd element. Europium, which is named after Europe. Imagine the Good Samaritan is incredibly kind and gives Ethel a trip to Europe, the land of the Eiffel Tower, the Swiss Alps, and the Colosseum. The Samaritan gives Ethel a plane ticket to go to Europe. Picture Ethel daydreaming about all those iconic landmarks in Europe, and you'll associate that image with the 63rd element, europium. 64. Gadolinium. Next is the 64th element, gadolinium. Number 64 is another challenging one. If you're a bit creative and break that up into a couple of words, you can go with gay doll. Imagine Ethel is on the plane traveling across to Europe, and she's playing with a gay doll. Visualize it as being a doll of Elton John, a flamboyant and openly gay man. The doll is dressed as a drag queen in a sequin dress but has a 2-day beard. Focus on that gay doll, and you'll remember the 64th element, gadolinium. 65. Terbium. The 65th element is terbium. Terbium sounds like turban. Imagine Ethel on the plane playing with her gay doll. The rest of the plane is completely full of men wearing turbans. Focus on the turbans. Make them really high turbans which rub to the ceiling of the plane and block Ethel's view of the large TV up front. Clearly picture all of those turbans and be reminded of the 65th element, terbium. 66. Dysprometium. The 66th element is dysprometium. Another challenging one. Let's go with dissing pros. The men wearing turbans are very conservative men. They don't approve of prostitutes and spend their time dissing pros, disrespecting prostitutes. They rant and rave about how shameful prostitutes are and they should be banned all over the world. Visualize these men getting angry and dissing pros, and you'll remember the 66th element, dysprosium. 67. Holmium. Next is holmium, the 67th element, which sounds like hold me in. Imagine you've been watching this visual story movie, but you've been watching it from inside the plane. You're in the plane with Prom-Ethel and the turbaned and irate men. Suddenly you fall into a hole and free fall for a few seconds. From your perspective, it's me in the hole, or hold me in. If you twist it around, feel the sudden dropping sensation as you go into the hole. Hold me in. Remind you of the 67th element, holmium. 68. Erbium. The 68th element is erbium. Erbium reminds me of herbs. After falling in the hole, you make a soft landing on herbs. There are huge bushes of basil, thyme, and rosemary. Imagine how fragrant they smell. You get to your feet and walk all over the herbs because they completely cover the ground. Picture the fragrant herbs and remember the 68th element, erbium. 69. Thulium. Thulium is the 69th element. Let's say thulium is pronounced as tool-ium, and try to work a tool into the story. As you're watching on the fresh herbs you stand on, something sharp which pierces your foot. You look down and realize you stood on a tool, a sharp rake. Visualize yourself standing on that sharp tool and hurting your foot, and you'll be reminded of the 69th element, thulium. 70. Ytterbium. The 70th element is ytterbium. Ytterbium sounds a bit like hit herbs. Imagine you pick up the tool you've stood on and use it to hit the herbs. You flatten a large patch of herbs by hitting them with the tool. Maybe it's a good stress relief. Picture yourself hitting herbs and you'll remember the 70th element, ytterbium. Summary. It is revision time again. 61. Remember Prom Ethel helping Neo stand up? Picture her and you'll remember Prometheum. 62. And the kind and gentle Good Samaritan who rushes to her assistance reminds you of Cimmerium. 63. He's so kind and gives Prom Ethel a plane ticket to Europe, home of the Eiffel Tower and other historical and tourist icons, which links to Europium. 64. On the plane to Europe, Prom Ethel plays with her gay doll, associated in your mind with gadolinium. 65. Watching her play with the gay doll is a plane full of men wearing high turbans. The turbans remind you of terbium. 66. The turban-wearing men start to get agitated and begin dissing pros, disrespecting prostitutes, and sounds like dysprosium. 67. From your vantage point of this story, you suddenly fall into a hole. Hole me in. Holmium. 68. When you land at the bottom of the hole, you find yourself on a garden full of fresh herbs. You remember herbium. 69. Standing up, you then walk around but stand on a tool and hurt your foot. The tool reminds you of the slightly mispronounced thulium. 70. Taking the tool in your hands, you use it to hit the herbs and flatten them.